Salutations, everyone, and welcome to What Mattered, the show where I tell you what mattered in the news this week. The Steam summer sale's going on right now, so moment of silence for all our e-wallets. Thank you. So, first things first, let's talk about the game that nobody wanted to like. Mighty No.9 finally came out after raising $4 million on Kickstarter. Was supposed to come out in November, pushed to February, supposed to come out in February, gets pushed to who knows, March maybe, and then it doesn't, and okay, finally got it. And we finally played it, and it was a very troubled launch. A lot of people, for the Humble Bundle, didn't get the right DLC codes. They got duplicates of one but not the other. And there was talks about with the Wii U version bricking their consoles. I haven't found any confirmations on that, but apparently some people say that's a thing. It's a little worrisome, but I've played the game. And it definitely deserves some criticism. Keiji Inafune said that all the criticisms, should be directed towards him. He takes full ownership of everything that went wrong with the development as well as the delays. Basically noting that, making the game for 10 platforms was a dumb idea and they shouldn't have done it and definitely plagued the game. And obviously it did. That's one of the main reasons why it was pushed back, because they're trying to have it on so many platforms, and it isn't even out on the 3DS and the Vita yet. So, that's definitely a disappointment for some people. But, when it comes to these Kickstarter crowdfunded things, this is not a pre-order. It's an investment. And a lot of times people do investments don't pan out at all, or at the very least the way that they had hoped. Now, we have seen plenty of successes in the past, and people are, really happy for Yooka-Laylee and hope that that's really great with that come out. But as far as Mighty No.9 goes, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't the game that many people thought or hoped it might be. We knew it was, spiritual successor to Mega Man. Keiji Inafune, the creator of Mega Man, trying to, do it on his own. And you can definitely see ways that it was trying to differentiate itself from Mega Man. It looked like it was supposed to be faster, the different ways of, absorbing the enemy's power and finishing them off with the dash. Made it seem like, alright, this is going to be a super, fast-paced game that's going to have, really great speed runs and, of course, the boss battles and stuff. But the game was definitely bogged down in the speed department. It wasn't as fast as I'd hoped it would be or thought it would be. Even after previously playing the game, there are certain segments that are like, man, this feels really good. It has an awesome rhythm to it. But some of the platforming is just kind of unfair. The underwater levels, the sliding on the ice, it's detrimental to the speed. When it comes to a game that, like Mega Man or Sonic the Hedgehog, who we know have had his problems and celebrating his 25th birthday this week, when you have elements that slow down a game that's supposed to be fast, that's no longer, catering to what the game should be. The boss battles are really fun in Mighty No.9. I like the boss battles. There's, of course, the whole Maverick system to where, one boss attack is going to hurt another one and make them weaker, make their boss fights a little bit different by, slowing them down or taking off armor or things like that we know from Mega Man. So I thought the boss battles were fun. Certain portions of certain maps were fun, but a lot of it was kind of, you have to be patient and wait for this platform, wait for this enemy to not be in this invulnerable state. So it definitely could have been much better. I don't think it was a huge failure, as a lot of people are pegging it to be. People are saying that Keiji Inafune said that it's better than nothing, even though he didn't say that. That was the translator mixing what Keiji Inafune said along with his own commentary. So that, of course, Mr. Inafune would never say that. And it has some sparks. People are criticizing the animation, and I think that's kind of nitpicky. People are always allowed to shit on graphics, say that, oh man, the PS1 looked better than this or something. Things that are completely untrue and stupid. But the voice acting isn't great. The sound mixing is god awful. When it comes, you can't hear the characters talk very much. You can change the music to 8-bit, which I personally like a lot. But like the explosions and shit, some of the things are like way louder than they should be. So it's definitely a bit of a messy game. Not as big of a disappointment as I would say Star Fox Zero was, but still not what it could have been. And I mean, it's difficult to tell with these sort of crowdfunding things where some amounts of the money went into certain things and where it might have been allocated better. But once again, when you have 10 platforms to develop for, it's definitely going to hurt, and definitely not something that I think future Kickstarter or Indiegogo or crowdfunding games are going to be going towards in the future, even with the stretch goals that we've seen many of them going for still. We also have some updates to Overwatch in the competitive mode that is currently in the public test realm for PC players. Started in South Korea, now it's available in North American players. So we're testing out the competitive seasons. Blizzard did say that there are things that they are going to want to do with competitive that they can't do in the first season. So as well as making changes to make it more competitive or balanced, changing timings of things, which they're messing with the timers on how overtime works and sudden death, and they're shaving off some time here and there so things don't last as long, things don't go to overtime or sudden death as often, even though that's like a really fun thing. They feel like if it happens all the time, it kind of, diminishes the feeling of it. So they're going to be messing with that, as well as different things that we have no idea about. We know that there's going to be golden gun rewards. There's going to be penalizations for people leaving games, which is so fantastic because there's no penalty for that in current games. They're going to be losing 75% of their XP. If they leave even more, then they start being timed out, and they leave even more, they'll be banned from the entire season. So that's really, really cool to see them punishing people that just make the game a not fun experience for their whole team on purpose. So that's really, really fun to see. Of course, competitive mode will be available on all platforms. There's going to be additional announcements next week. They've tweaked some things since the closed beta in certain regions. So there's going to be changes from season to season, as well as adding additional content and rewards for playing Overwatch competitive season mode. Speaking of Sonic's 25th anniversary, Sonic Team is making a new game. Not a big surprise with the 20th anniversary. 5 years ago, we got Sonic Generations. There was rumors of Sonic Generations 2 that didn't seem to pan out earlier this year. But we might be learning something, later this month in July, whether it be maybe at Comic-Con or possibly at another, localized thing that they're going to be doing. But they are working on a new game. Who knows what that means with the Sonic Team? They could go in 1,000 different directions, as we've seen in the past with a lot of lackluster titles that, have been bugged and not so great on content, or they have good portions that get bogged down by terrible portions. I think Sonic Generations was the last good Sonic game that they've made, and hopefully there's going to be less boom in our future. They are still working on the Sonic Boom animation show. They are also working on a feature-length movie, because that's the thing. Video game movies are... That's the new trend. We had comic books, that's successful, and that's going to be a thing, so more video game movies, apparently, and CG ones that are kid-friendly. Who knows? It could work out. It's possible, let's face it, it's possible it could be decent and make money, but that's a lot on their plate, and they're making a new game, so who knows what it's going to be. Sonic Boom 2? Who knows? Sonic and the Werehog and Knuckles and Shadow Edgelord. We have no idea. We can only hope that it's good, or at least better than what we've had so far, which is not saying a lot. We have a ton of updates about DC's Justice League movie that will be coming out next year, including casting, the fact that it's no longer a 2-part movie. We got the new logo for the Justice League. Pretty simple, familiar to those of us who have seen Justice League or read Justice League before. As well as a synopsis of the plot of the film, which is not spoilery. It's basically what we already know coming out of Batman vs. Superman. It's no longer going to be a 2-part movie. It's not going to be called Justice League Part 2. There's no Justice League Part 1. It still seems like there's going to be like 2 different Justice Leagues movies. They're just not Part 1 and Part 2. They're going to be contained storylines and not end on a cliffhanger, but still make it seem like there's more there within the DC universe. Maybe we still see a looming threat, or, you know, somebody is coming back, whether it be a good guy or a bad guy. We don't know, but no longer Justice League Part 1, Part 2. We don't even know what was Justice League Part 2 is going to be called now, or how many heroes and or villains are going to be in it. But this is what we know so far, as well as Tormund from Game of Thrones is going to be playing an Atlantean. So, typecasting, am I right? And finally, Halo 5 Warzone's Firefight is finally coming out on June 29th. It will be available for free for players for 5 days. If you don't have Halo 5, you can download it for a few days and play it. It's also going to be 50% off during that time. So big push, lots of free content DLC, and this is the biggest free content DLC update for Halo 5 thus far. They're also adding 3 new maps, 2 for Warzone and 1 for Arena. Of course, there's also going to be new rec packs with new weapon skins and helmets and armor and all that good stuff. There's this new grunt robot in the Warzone Firefight mode, which looks hilarious, as well as a Wasp vehicle. And it's just a ton of awesome free content, and the community is just going to get bigger and better. We've seen the strides that Forge mode has made, so Halo 5 doing it right, and this is going to be a big one. Firefight, such a fun game type to play in ODST, and I can't wait to get in on Halo 5's Warzone Firefight. Any hooting the blowfish, that is what mattered this week. If you'd like to know what matters in the future, hit the subscribe button when these videos comes out every single Saturday. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you next time.